the Benz for my friends, got the land for my fam.
So welcome everybody to my long-awaited editing tutorial. I've been promising this for a while. Things have popped up, guys, and I haven't had the time, but I figured I'd try and get it done today. So this section here that we're going to do is from my second to last Bobbler video, not the competition entry, the one before that. And I asked you guys which part of it you'd like to see a tutorial done on, and I think the most voted for was the intro. That's generally where I put most effort into my videos, so that's what we're going to do. We're not going to do the whole intro, reason being we'll be here for hours and you guys don't want to sit and watch that for hours, I wouldn't have thought. So I've just concentrated on this central section here. So if we just highlight this and then you can press on the keyboard Shift and B, you can pre-render the sequence and view it on the display here without any lag.
Got the Benz for my friends, got the land for my fam.
So you can see there it ends kind of abruptly because there was the extra bit on the end, but we'll ignore that for now. So everything is here. Doesn't look that bad from first sight, but beware, there are some serious animations in this alone. So first things first, when you open Vegas, obviously you're not going to have this, you're just going to have blank tracks. You're going to want to drag each individual item out. I'm going to leave the song used and the effects as in like overlays, this one here. I'll put links in the description so you can download them. To make this easy for myself and you guys, I'm just going to cheat a little bit here. I'm just going to copy and paste some of this, but you're going to have to drag and drop it. Obviously it isn't going to be preset for you. So I'm just go ahead and do this. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do is find where you're in the clip, where your moment is. If it's a double split, pop split, whatever, you just want to split the clip right where it's happening. There's no velocity plays here or anything like that, it's just simple split, and you can do that by pressing S on the keyboard, or you can right click and do that. So the next part, we're going to edit this build up. So effects you're going to want to use S_ blur mode curves, magic bullet looks, and S_shake. You can do that by clicking the green thing here and selecting them from this menu. Now this goes without saying, guys, you are going to need Sapphire Effects plugin and magic bullet looks. I don't think I use BCC in this, but anyway, if you don't have that, this isn't going to work, so don't even try it. So the first effect, we've got S_blur mode curves. Now everything on here is default apart from the ones you can see they're animated. And there's not a lot of animation on this at all. For blur mode curves, the only animation is the end where it zooms in. It's the start of the beat pumps. So all you're going to want to do there is, I think I went 7 frames from the end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Nope. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, 16, 15, whatever, something like that. And then you're going to want to insert a point, and you can do that. I'll just demonstrate that here by clicking Add Keyframe. All that does is just add a point, doesn't affect anything else. Now, once you've done that, go to the very end, and again you're going to add another keyframe, and you're going to right click on this. No, you're not. You're going to right click on this one and select slow fade. This is important. This is how you get a lot of smooth flow into your videos, playing around with these fades. Not all of them are going to work for certain things. It's down to experimentation. So slow fade, and on the end you're going to want to put Z distance or Z distance to 0.3. Don't worry about X and Y, I don't know why they're animated on here, but ignore them. So that's all you're going to do for this one. Now, Magic Bullet looks. This one's an interesting prospect. This one has its sort of own menu. So you're going to click on Edit Look. Once I make sure the cursor's over the part of the video. Edit Look, and you're going to see this interesting menu to start off with. Now, you're not going to have these presets I have here. I'm going to leave a link to the source on YouTube that I got my CCs from. These are not mine. I'm not claiming these. I do edit them from time to time, but standard, they're not mine. You're going to want to select Over Edit Blur, and I think that's all default. I didn't change any of that. And then you're just going to click the green, well, the tick, and that's all you have to do for that one. S shake. So normally when it's a build up, I like to have a little movement in the video. You can see it's ever so slightly shaking. All you want to do for this one is set your frequency to 0.5 and the amplitude also to 0.5. You don't need to animate that, and that's it. That's all you need for the build up. There's no differences there. Fairly simple, fairly straightforward. Like I say, I've not changed anything else other than the ones I've told you about, so we can go ahead and finish that one. So next, this is where things start to get a lot more complicated, guys. So I'm just going to go ahead and place the other half of the video in there. All you're going to do for this one is just put the other half of the clip you split. Now we're going to take a look in here. Now this one, as you can see, is much more complicated. So every single one of these points is matched to the markers that are here. So on this song it's really easy. All you have to do is just put a marker where you see these, you know, spikes in the audio track. That's as simple as it gets. There's no magic there. So you can do that by pressing M on the keyboard, like so. And just, I'm going to go ahead and delete these because I don't need them. So once you've done that and you've pressed M on all these beat pumps, you can zoom in here and see where they are. I think there's 8 of them. Yep. You can go ahead and take another look in here. So effects to use on this one: Magic Bullet Looks, 3 lots of blur more curves. That's another important thing. Shake and warp waves 2. Now, an important thing to note in Vegas is a lot of people wrongly think that the effect order does not matter. It does. It will change the outlook of the video, sometimes drastically, if you do not have them the same order as what I'm showing you here. If for whatever reason you've imported them in the wrong way, you can just drag them like that, reorganize them. Doesn't change anything down here, it just changes the order. So like before, just place all of these in. You can place more than one of the same effect down, just do it exactly the same way. So Magic Bullet Look, this is the easiest one. There's no difference in this. All we have to do is again do what we did on the last clip. Select that one and click the tick. You can see it applies it there. Next one, this blur more curves. This one controls the Z distance, as we can see here. So all you're going to want to do for this is where you placed your markers down, you're going to want to place a point at 0.3 where the markers are. And you can also go ahead and right click on this one and select Fast Fade. This is important, make sure you click the right fades. Now, between each beat, go about, I think it's 7 frames or so behind this fast fade, as you can see there. put this to 1 and select slow fade, so you can see they alternate between every single beat pump like that, like hills. Some of them have longer build-ups, some of them have short ones, just about 7 to 10 frames. Doesn't matter too much, just as long as it's around that. And once you've done all that, that's it for that one. The next blur mode curves. This one is controlling the X and Y movements. That is upwards and sideways. You'll see that a lot in some of my videos. I quite like to use this. Now, another important thing to note here is where it says wrap X and Y. This one doesn't matter. You're going to want to set this one to tile. By default I think it's no, but make sure you click tile, not reflect, on both of them. This makes it so that it pushes the same frame over on itself. You don't, if you didn't have that, all it'd do is just show up black once it's done the transition. We don't want that, we want it to continue. So make sure you click this button to animate both of them, and we can see that these are actually blue, and that means they are smooth fades. So for this demonstration I'm going to go back to the original one so you can see where the markers are. So if we go to the start, you can see they are both at 0. Go to the right one. Both at 0. The second marker, this one, drops down to -1. Now notice here it's got this black circle on it. All this means is that it's out of its default range. This does not mean you can't use it. This is another common misconception about Vegas. Just because you can't drag the slider any further doesn't mean you can't go further than that. It just doesn't allow you to use the slider. Just type in manually the number -1 and you will still get what you ask. So at the second marker we can see that this X is at -1. Third marker, you can see that they're now both at -1. Now an important thing to note here is make sure you add a keyframe by clicking the plus again here, otherwise it's going to drag from there and we don't want that. So this one again -1, this one at 0. Third keyframe, both at -1. Again, note this black circle thing, you can still use it. Fourth keyframe, click on that. Still at -1, they haven't changed, but just make sure you hit this plus button. You can apply frames outside of the range. You can see you can't see the lines anymore. Fifth keyframe, fifth marker should I say, you can see that X has dropped back to 0. So just apply that. And the Y has stayed the same, but again click the plus. It's always best to add extra keyframes in. Next frame, they're now both at 0 because this one was already at 0, so it's just continuing, but this one has now reached 0, so add that one in. Second to last marker, they're still at 0, but again hit the plus button and apply a smooth fade. The final marker, these are now both at +1. Again, you'll have to type this in manually. You can just type whatever you want in there, but just 1.0, enter, and it will apply that. Now because I've already done it before, it doesn't like it, but anyway. Now at the very end, they've just reset, gone back to 0. And I believe on this keyframe here, you want to apply a fast fade. Now we can check that. Nope, sorry, a smooth fade. If you want to apply fades for values that are outside of the range, you're going to have to bring it down, then do it, then bring it back up. Simple as that. It'll still apply the fade, but you can't see it. So once you've gone ahead and done that, you can move on to the next one. So the final blur mode curves, I believe this is for rotation, yes. So if we go to, where is it at? Just towards the end, isn't it? You can see here, it actually spins into the beat. So I'm going to go back to the original copy. and we'll go to that point. So this is this particular marker. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th, or just below, before the 7th actually. This is the 7th. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There, 10 frames before this point. You want to animate the rotation on the third Blurmo curves, and we will also note that these are now on reflect, so change them to reflect. Now type in here 360, and at the 7th marker you're going to want to type 720. Now the reason I do this is because if you type 0 it won't do anything at all, or at least it won't in this copy of Vegas or whatever. All it will do is just negate that, and it just won't do anything. So type 720, that's enough to give you one full turn, and it forces it to actually do it. So again, a smooth fade here, and as you can see that just gently spins into the beat, and that's all you have to do for that one. Now shake. So for this one, let's have a look. This is right at the start of the, yes, this is on the 2nd marker. So as you can see here, this is all still default values. There's no preset involved here. You can easily add this. You're going to want to set, or go to the 2nd marker, go 1 frame behind, and then click the plus to add a keyframe. Go back to the marker and set this to 0.5 and apply a smooth fade. And then this you can have as much distance as you want from this, but this is about halfway. Doesn't really matter. You can set that back to 0, and for the whole effect apply a frequency value of 16. So you're only animating the amplitude on this one. Finally, S_warp waves 2. Now this one does have a preset, so I'm going to bring it all up for you guys to copy. This was made by me, so I don't have to give any credit for this one, but when you have applied the settings, which I'm going to show you in a second, go back to the 2nd marker again, go back a frame, click the plus, forward again, and apply a slow fade to this one. And again, it ends roughly just wherever you feel like. That can vary depending on what clip you've got. So the numbers are as follows. You can go ahead and copy all these in. Okay. The only one you are animating in this one is the A amplitude. Do not do the B, just the A. And all you're going to want to set that one to is 0.05, not 0.5. That's insane. Do 0.05. And again, slow fade, just gives it a little bit of movement, and ends just there. Okay. So now that you've got the difficult things out of the way, we need to add, or I added, a shockwave at this point. Now this is the one I believe I got out of the Lupirad's editing pack, but I will again leave a link to that in the description. So I'm just going to copy this across, but again you'd have to just drag and drop it onto the timeline. Now with this one there are actually a few important things to note. So this one has its marker on this beat drop, so I'm just going to copy that over here to make life a little bit easy for myself. So that's about there. Just put a marker in. Now when you are using shockwaves, particularly ones with black backgrounds, an important thing to note is when you place it down in the track, you need to make sure that the compositing mode is set to screen. This makes it so that you can't see the black, you just see the actual shockwave. A lot of people use, I believe it's chroma key to remove the black. Don't do that. It doesn't look nice at all. Just use this. It makes it lovely and smooth and clean. It's 10 times better. So once you've applied that, what you're going to want to do is, I'll show you here. So by default, it will have a lot of black before it. So all you want to do there is just skip forward to where you can see it actually explode, and then just trim the start. Just makes life a little bit easier. So in this one there is actually edit and pan and crop, and there's also fade on the end, but you can change that to suit you. So we'll start with the edit. This one has S_hue sat bright, and the second one is another load of magic bullet looks. So for this one, you can see it's such a small amount of time though. Change the hue shift to whatever value suits you. The only reason this is that is because it makes it a pink colour, which matches the cell, as you can see there. It's by default it's blue and this is pink, so you can change that to green, black, whatever you want. And I believe that's all it changed on that. Yeah, that's everything else is default. The next one, magic bullet looks again. I'm going to want to open looks, and on this one it's the same as all the other clips. Over edit blur, just click green tick, and there you go, it's applied it. So that's fairly simple, fairly straightforward. And now when it comes to pan and crop, I'm going to click that, and as you can see, all I've done is I've just moved it so that the shockwave is centered around the cell, it fits around the edge. So depending on your clip, that will change, and all you have to do for that is just, you know, drag the bar. You can change settings, whatever suits you. So I'm just going to go ahead and fix that. So fairly straightforward. The main thing to note on this one is to do with the composite mode. So the next part, there is I think this is to do with, yeah, okay. So what this is the exact same point in this clip here, the second part that you split, just above it in another track and split either side. There's no difference. All you want to do is just copy this track, paste it above, and trim either side in between these two markers. Also ends exactly where this one does. So I'm just going to save some time and copy that over and paste it just there. Now, whenever I do this, it for some reason resets my looks value, so I'm just going to go ahead and reapply that. So the only difference with this one is that it now has this effect, S_invert, and I believe, yeah, just copy these values. I'm not sure if they're all default or not. I might have changed something, but it's mainly just the tick boxes. There's no animation needed. These will already be applied because you've copied and pasted the exact same clip, so you don't have to worry about that. Just apply the effect, copy this, and that's it. Good to go. And the final part is again doing exactly the same. You are going to copy and paste this clip, paste it above itself in exactly the same spot, and trim either side between these two markers. And again, I'm just going to save some time and copy and paste this over. Now, because I haven't copied the markers over, I'm just going to fix that, and that is this one here. So there's two. That one there. Okay. So, unfortunately, because I'm not using markers, it's not going to be exactly the same, but you get the picture. Now again, I'm going to click looks, edit look, and reapply. Whenever you cut or copy and paste, it will for some reason glitch out. So this one does have quite a lot of effects, and it has some different ones too. So if we start from the beginning, looks again hasn't changed. We can now see that we have a warp chroma effect. This is here. Now it's important to note, again, you need to do this in the exact same effect order that you see here, otherwise it will not look the same. So put this one before looks in the order. Now, these are all default values, as you can see there. There's no preset. However, again, you need to put a value higher than what it normally allows. Just place 30, gives you a nice smooth look. And you're going to want to animate the Z distance. Now, it starts at 1, and that is a fast fade, the green one. And then, just after that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 frames ahead of that one, you can apply a 1.5 Z distance value and place that as a slow fade. And at the end of the clip, I believe it resets, yes, it goes back to 1. So that's all you have to do for that one. Okay, so the next effect is TV Simulator. Now this has a bit of a different interface because it's one of the legacy effects. However, there is no animation required in this one at all. All you have to do is apply the effect and copy the settings you see here. Just most of these sliders get dragged to 0 apart from this. So you've got a 1 value and a 0.8 value for line sync. So if you apply those effects, it will be exactly the same. Now these blur mode curves are the default ones from below, so we don't need to worry about them. Same for this. This is the only one that has been added. So for this one, you're going to want to apply a tile to Y, but no to X, and you're going to want to animate the shift in Y for this extra blur mode curves. So at the start, it is set to 0, but it's on a fast fade. So remember, right click, fast fade. Then you're going to want to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 frames ahead of that, and set that to 0.3 in the Y, and that's going to want to have a slow fade on it. Then yeah, that's at the same point as these two here, so they'll already be applied, so just align that with them. You can go ahead and reset the Y, put it back to 0, and as you can see here, it gives you a nice smooth curve. And that's it for that one. That's all you have to do. There's no extra fiddling around. That's all set, ready to go. So once you've got all that, you're practically done. One other thing to add is this sound effect. So I'll show you this one. It comes default as a really long file, but you don't need you only need the start. So we're going to trim the end, and we're just going to align it with this where you originally split the clip, and just put it about there. You can see a step. There's no real way to tell on these, but you can just go ahead and fade that off a little bit. And yeah, that should be it. There's no added things anywhere else. Like I say, this was the easier part of my intro. The other parts were much more difficult. So we can go ahead and highlight all that just by dragging the cursor along the timeline, and press Shift and B on the keyboard, and depending on how good your PC is, this could take quite some time, or it could take 5 seconds. Now my PC is actually quite powerful, but as you can see, there's a lot of effects to render and it's taking its time, so I'll go ahead and cut back in once this is done. Okay, so it's just finished pre-rendering, so we'll give it a quick check. You can do that by pressing enter, or you can press play on here.
Got the Benz for my friends, got the land for my fam.
And there we have it, guys. That's the exact replica of this one. One final thing to note, however, is depending on what song you use, or if you use any other sound effects, you might want to play around with these audio levels. If you just double click on the value, you can type something in. So I've actually put these on -10. They're quite loud on their own, so something to note. But yeah, guys, that should wrap up the editing tutorial that I promised you guys. So now you can see exactly how I would do it. So thank you all for watching. I appreciate every single one of your support on all my videos, and I'll keep cranking them out as long as you guys keep enjoying them and showing your support. So thank you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.